Good morning, children. Social Studies, 10th class. Today we are into 17th lesson. Independent India, first 30 years from 1947 to 1977. Conditions prevailing in India were very much different from today what we are seeing in India. People were divided socially, economically, culturally, and religiously also. So, our leaders were very much, what do you say, they were not sure. They were not sure about how the people of India would be when they got independence and how would they behave with each other or how the country would progress when the conditions were like that, such that. So everyone was concerned about the conditions prevailing in India after independence. So many leaders have expressed their opinions on it, and we are now saying Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's previews or views, expressions on the conditions in India and the division of people, which were the main concern when the future of India was concerned. He was saying, on the 26th of January 1950, we are going to enter into a life of contradictions. Contradictions means opposite to one another. In politics, we have equality, and in social and economic life, we have inequality. In politics, we will be recognizing the principle of one man, one vote, and one vote, one value. In our social and economic life, we shall, by reason of our social and economic structure, continue to deny the principle of one man, one value. How long shall we continue to live this life of contradiction? How long shall we continue to deny equality in our social and economic life? If we continue to deny it for long, we will do so only by putting our political democracy in peril. We must remove this contradiction at the earliest possible moment, or else those who suffer from inequality will blow up the structure of political democracy which this assembly has so laboriously built up. So he was so much concerned about the conditions and the people who were in question. So in order to protect or establish the democracy in India, first general elections were held in 1952 after 2 years of declaring India as a republic. And in the first general elections, what were the scenes and what was the situation? We shall now study. The first general elections to be held under the new constitution were immensely significant for Indian democracy. It represented India's determination to take the path of democracy after independence from British rule. India adopted universal adult franchise at one go, that is, Indian people were given the right to vote. Franchise means right to vote. Unlike in the West, where franchise was extended in stages. Like in the Western countries, the rich and the noble people were given the voting rights in the first stage of franchise, and then only those people who worked and who have money, who were paying taxes, were given the right to vote. And after that, the peasants and the merchants, small merchants were given. And after that, at last, women were given the opportunity to vote. But in India, our great India has given the vote right, that is voting right, right to vote, to all the people, all the adults at one go, that is immediately after declaring elections. After declaring India as a republic, everyone was given the right to vote. And universal adult franchise meaning is that unlike in the West where franchise was extended in stages first to the property area and only subsequent to other sections of society. For instance, women in Switzerland, we consider Switzerland as the developed country, but women in Switzerland got the right to vote only in 1971. And we women in India have got right to vote immediately after declaring elections, first elections. So that is the condition. And now you can see here a scene where people are standing, especially women are standing in queue at the polling station where elections were held. So, what was the condition? They were not educated, they did not know anything about politics, though they were fighting for the freedom under the leadership of our national leaders. They were not ready for the elections as it is. But the first elections were successful because of the planning and implementation by the successful planning and successful implementation by the government of India. Now, everyone thought the elections were difficult to hold, but it was not so. So, socially and economically, people were all divided. There were educated people and uneducated people. There were rich people. There were poor people. Those who were aware of elections, those who were not aware of elections, those who were uh, like knowing everything about elections, but it was not the case. Though they were not educated, though they were not literate, people could understand the politics of India and they voted in large numbers. They came out and voted in large numbers and proved our democracy as a successful one. Now, this is the condition. And so, before conducting elections, election officers, or you can say, including the officials and non officials in India, political parties also have held several meetings and workshops for the people, general people, common people in India about the elections, first general elections. So such was the enthusiasm and such was the sincerity and such was the uh, commitment by everyone during the elections. So this was the condition about first elections and to overcome the problem of illiteracy, the election commission came up with a novel idea that is different idea of having symbols from everyday life to represent the political parties and candidates. So this creative innovation dispensed with elaborative instructions and redirected elaborate instructions and required only visual identification. Visual identification means only symbols were present. So this basic idea continues even today. Even today, we follow this basic idea of symbols for different political parties, different symbols for different political parties. So to make it even easier, in the first elections, each candidate had a separate ballot box. It was very much easy. So whenever you wanted to vote for someone, you can go directly to the box which was allocated for the particular candidate. Each candidate had a box allocated to him so that people could go there and put the paper into that box. So ballot paper. So to make it even easier, in the first election, each candidate had a separate ballot box with a symbol stuck outside. The voter only had to drop their ballot paper in the box of their preferred candidate. In the run-up to the elections, there was a massive campaign to encourage the voters to go out and vote. See, before conducting the elections, and political parties and officials have also um, maybe differently, but they have campaigned. They have gone to the people, common people, and they have advertised from themselves and they have urged the people, they have made awareness. They have conducted awareness campaigns for the people to come out and to vote and how important were the elections that was discussed and told to the people. So this was the idea. So you have understood how were the conditions when the India got independence and when first elections were held in 1952, there was there were some different kind of conditions. But some questions will be coming to your mind. So what were the questions? Let me guess some of the questions. How do you think does illiteracy affect elections and education? Affected elections, especially when it comes to exercising the choice of voting. Choice of voting means whom to select, whom to vote. How do you think can this problem be solved even today? Even today, when people are more educated, more aware of political parties, still we find this very important to think who should I vote. So, could we have considered that our country was democratic if all the people did not have voting rights? If there was no voting right to all people, can we call our country a democratic country? So, this is the second question. People, you have to think about it and you have to write answers for also. Given the literacy rate of women being low, if women were not allowed to vote, how would it affect our politics? Women are half, at least, if not more than half of the population is women population. But if women were not allowed to vote, do you think our policies and politics or whatever you call development also would have affected? Because everyone needs development. Everyone needs to take decisions. If everyone is not participating in decision making, how would that be full democracy? You have to think, you have to tell, is it right or wrong? Being able to conduct regular elections can be considered a clear sign of being able to establish democracy. Do you agree with this statement? Give reasons. So, regular elections, peacefully and fairly, they have to be. With commitment, they have to be conducted, they have to be held. But if we are not able to conduct them peacefully, can we call our democracy as a peaceful democracy or a perfect democracy? You have to give reasons. Okay? These are the questions. For. So, after considering all these things, we will describe of elections, particularly the first elections, as under this. We have to describe the conditions prevailing then. Description of elections. In districts where Parda was strictly observed, separate voting booths staffed entirely by women were usually provided. See, some castes and religions where Parda system was very strict, very strictly observed. Women were under the veil. They did not come out easily. They could not come out easily because they could not stand in a line along with the men. people, male people, and they did not. It was considered as offensive, so people did not come. So in order to avoid that problem, separate booths, voting booths were which were manned by, which were staffed by only women officials were occupied, I mean provided. That provision was there during the first elections. During the first elections itself, our officials have thought so keenly and so thoughtfully they have arranged all. So in Ajmer, Rajasthan, a Rajput woman arrived at the polls in a heavily wheeled chariot. Chariot, what do you call Rath, Radhamu. Her whole body was draped in velvet. The only part she exposed to the public gaze was the left forefinger, which, as was required to prevent repeated voting, she extended to be marked with indelible ink. So you know all this finger, left index finger will be marked with indelible ink when you have voted your vote, right? So what that does indicate you have already voted and you cannot do it. Whenever you go to the polling booth second time, people or officials there will recognize you that you have already voted. So this was the arrangement. Even today it is existing, and when such women were there who came in heavily wheeled chariot, and her whole parts of the body were covered with velvet. Only his forefinger was open, so visible. Some villages voted as body. So from Assam came the report of a tribal village whose members journeyed to the polling station the day before the voting was to take place. They spent the whole night dancing and singing around the large bonfires. Bonfires, fire, until sunup. Sunup means until morning. When they marched to the booths in orderly fashion, they have adorned some kind of, they would have adorned some kind of fashion jewelry or whatever traditional, and they came in groups. They came as a whole and they voted as a whole. They have thought it as their responsibility to vote. The people of Pepsu, Patiala and East Punjab States Union region was solved the problem of which of the two rival candidates to support by arranging a wrestling match between two of their women, each named to represent a candidate, having agreed that all would vote for the candidate whose representative won. They have arranged between the two people who were contesting in the elections. People did not go there and vote. They have conducted a match, wrestling match, and when the uh, result was declared, whose representative was won, people were divided into two groups, and whose representative was winning the match, he was declared as winner. Such were the conditions, but though our constitution does not, allow all these practices, there were some incidents. Many offerings were brought. Petitions professing loyalty or begging for food and clothing were sometimes found when the ballot boxes were opened. When the ballot boxes were opened, people have not only voted their right, they have also demanded for some provisions, for some facilities for their villages, for their independent needs. They have also requested to the public representatives they have represented. So these were the exact extracts. These were the things which were written in the Indian Independence with Democratic Elections in 1958 by Margaret W. Fisher. It was written by Margaret Fisher and John Bondurant. This was the book which was written from which these excerpts were taken. This was the condition, children.